Hello you fantastic people and welcome back to Borderlands 3. In this video we're going to go over the fastest or easiest way to get to Mayhem 10 regardless of where you've started from, like if you're brand new to the game, if you're just starting in Mayhem levels, if you're coming back to the game after the extensive amount of bugs in it, and if you're just struggling, you've been trying for a while and you haven't managed to get up to M10 level with your gear and stuff like that. I'm going to go over all the tricks, tips, all of the stuff that I use and know from chat and YouTube comments, all that stuff. I'll let you guys know the best way that I know. And I do flak main, so I'm going to have a lot of information for flak, but all my points are going to be broad enough that any character will be able to use them and be able to do the same thing. So I have like 4 main points. The first one by far being the most important one. You want to try and get the highest damage weapon, just one super high damage weapon that you can manage to get. The top tier weapons in this game are mostly the new ones. Currently the pre-Mayhem 2.0 weapons aren't really holding their own at Mayhem 10. They're pretty decent, but you're gonna have to get the best one for it to do real damage. Whereas if you get one of the brand new weapons, it's gonna absolutely wreck face, particularly if you're dealing with bosses, if you're just farming like that. It's going to help you out a lot. So there are a lot of great weapons, but I would recommend 4 main ones in particular: a Sandhawk, an OPQ system, a Yellow Cake, or a Monarch Assault Rifle. If you can get any 4 of those weapons, you're going to be set. Now consider, if depending on what level you guys are at, if you're just starting at Mayhem 0, you won't be able to get a Sandhawk or a Monarch until you hit Mayhem 6, but you can get an OPQ and you can get a Yellow Cake at any Mayhem level. You can even get that even if you're not in Mayhem whatsoever. Now, like I said, I'm going to try and keep this video as broad as possible for any varying player abilities or wherever you guys are stuck. If you're on Mayhem 8 or if you're on Mayhem 2 struggling to get up, if you guys are looking for M6 to M10 weapons, the Sandhawk, the Monarch, all the other ones, I'm going to link a video in the description that has all of the dedicated drop locations for those. I won't repeat it in this video because it'll take too long, but you guys are more than welcome to check it out there. That'll show you all the guides for those weapons if you're looking for them. Now, the reason I say to get one top tier weapon is because 1 is all you really need to jump several Mayhem levels. For example, if you get a OPQ system at Mayhem 2, that should be able to jump you minimum of like Mayhem 4. You don't want to refarm all your gear for each Mayhem level. That'll take you way too long. I mean, you're more than welcome to if you want to just hang out and slowly go through the levels, but if you're trying to be quick, you only really need 1 weapon. For example, your shields won't upgrade as you got Mayhem levels. They stay the same the whole time. Your grenades, all that stuff will stay the same. You only need 1 weapon to really jump you up there. The enemies aren't going to do more damage, they're just going to have more health, so you just need stronger weapons as you go up. So just get 1 at a time until you get to Mayhem 10, and then you can get all the gear. For example, if you guys are flak mains like myself, I've already made a bunch of builds. You'll be able to check out those in the description or the channel, or even with any character. I've made a video for one-shotting Katagawa Jr. What I did, I jumped straight into the highest Mayhem level as soon as I got into Mayhem 2.0. Went to Katagawa Jr., farmed him until I got a Sandhawk, and then was able to just destroy the other bosses with that gun because it's so damn good. Got a few dedicateds together and then jumped into the cartel. That's really easy for flak because he's really good at destroying bosses. He has a lot of damage output, but he's not the most survivable boy. So if you guys are Zane, for example, and you are better at mobbing rather than boss fighting, I'd suggest rather going then into a boss fight, maybe go to the cartel, farm that area at any Mayhem level because you don't have to be set at Mayhem 6 or above, and you can just farm the end boss area, which is currently where I am in game. I'll show a clip on screen, an easy way to farm it. If you guys do the boss fight and then just destroy the mini bosses, which have dedicated drops by the way, including the OPQ system, the Yellow Cake, any of the new ones that are dedicated to the cartel event will drop from these mini bosses, and they cycle depending on what cartel you're on. If you farm the mini bosses and then down yourself without killing Joey, the king boss guy, if you down yourself mid boss fight just before killing him, the rest will respawn. You'll respawn just back at the fountain. You'll be able to jump into the boss fight straight away without collecting the mask, without doing all that stuff. It saves you a bunch of time. You can jump straight into that boss fight, kill the underbosses again, super quick. It's a really quick farm versus having to do the whole cartel on a run, collecting all those codes and doing all that stuff again. It saves you probably a good 40 minutes, honestly. Just do that trick if you want to. Farm for the cartel weapons. That'll be able to jump you up from the Mayhem levels really quickly, particularly if you're stuck on the lower ones. That way you don't have to depend on trying to get to Mayhem 6 weapons. If you guys are struggling in the cartel but you want the cartel weapons, I have a second suggestion for you guys, but you have to have DLC 1, unfortunately. Go to the Handsome Jackpot and then go down to the Compact area, then to Trash Lantis, and then from here run out to the left through this area until you get all the way down to this area here. This is where you farm Scrap Trap or Scrap Trap Prime, whatever it's called, and you'll find a bunch of mini Scrap Traps. If you've done DLC 1, you'll know what it is. If you have the cartel event on while farming those guys, they spawn the mini bosses every once in a while. If you farm that area with any weapon, all those bosses will spawn. You'll be able to kill them on a loop without having to do all the cartel runs, all that stuff. Try put it on the highest mayhem level you can, because of course as mayhem levels go up, the damage on the weapons that drop are going to go up. And once those bosses spawn, you'll be able to kill them, try and get the new cartel weapons just from killing scrap traps, which is super easy. If you guys want to make that farm super efficient, there are many different options. If you're up to M6 or above already, the Reflux is by far the best option. It's essentially a Caustic Brainstormer, elementally chains corrosive damage to all the enemies nearby, which in the scrap trap nest is like a bajillion little scrap traps, so it explodes all of them super quick. Of course, if you're not up to M6 yet, try go for a Yellow Cake if you don't already have one. Go for a Breath of the Dying, Dial Assault Rifle. Anything Caustic Damage is going to do well, but if you're talking about the most efficient, those 3 weapons are like top tier in that area. My next suggestion would definitely be don't sleep on the Loot the Universe event. It is probably by far their best event they've had so far, particularly when you're trying to get up to Mayhem 10. If you guys don't know what it is, I've made a guide for it the last 3 weeks, and we've got 1 week left next week. As we go through the weeks, it changes planet by planet in the game. Each area within a planet for the week will drop a crazy amount of SMGs, assault rifles, class mods, etc., all dedicated to a random spot. And Gearbox didn't tell us where they would be, so we had to go around find them as a community, and I did that on stream. I've made a guide each week for you guys, so those will be linked in the description. The week 3 is currently what we're up to. That'll be linked below, or if you're watching this when week 4 is active, I'll make another guide when that comes out. Essentially, you'll have to go to each area. For example, Floodmore Basin this week is currently dropping a crazy amount of class mods. So if you farm Floodmore Basin, you're going to be able to get like God Roll class mods very easily. It's really good at the moment, especially if you're using new kinds of brands of weapons, because I know a lot of the new weapons are not brands I was using at least. So that's a great way to get new ones and amp your damage like crazy to get up to that Mayhem 10 level. My next suggestion would definitely be re-rolling your modifiers as much as you need to until they get the most like balanced, non-completely game-breaking modifiers for your particular build. For example, I have a Gamma Flak which only uses radiation damage, or at least 90% radiation damage, and there is a modifier that makes enemies like 90% immune to radiation damage. So it completely breaks that build and you can't do any damage if you're using that. So I'd say just keep re-rolling your modifiers until you find those that don't completely break your builds, or sometimes they even help you. For example, I'm never re-rolling from this Mayhem modifiers list. For my Fadeaway Flak, this is actually perfect. Holy Crit literally helps you. The very hard modifier gives me 25% extra crit damage, which is all Flak does, crit damage. Non-critical hit damage is reduced by 50%, but that doesn't matter because Flak only hits criticals, so that's totally fine. Chain Gang I would highly recommend because it's elemental beams that you can really easily see between enemies. You can see them, you can dodge them, you can jump over them. The pools of elemental damage on the ground, miss me with that, not a fan. Mob Mentality honestly doesn't affect me too much. Enemy damage and fire rate increased by 30% when they're near other enemies. In big areas like the cartel, yeah, that may be a little bit difficult, but I mostly use this for bossing, so I'd recommend that if you guys are using it for bossing. Big kick energy, gun damage increased by 25%. Sounds good to me. A bit of recoil and weapon spread does kind of suck, but I generally play up close and personal, so again, that doesn't affect me. So yeah, just keep pressing Q until you find a role that actually helps you rather than destroying your build. That's pretty much what the Mayhem modifiers are doing at the moment. But yeah, those are the main ways to get to Mayhem 10 as quickly as possible. Don't forget, if you need any more help, there'll be a bunch of those videos linked in the description. For example, the Loot the Universe event, how to one-shot Katagawa Jr., any of my builds for Flak, all the Mayhem 10 weapons, the dedicated drop locations. If you're not at level 57 yet, I have a video of the fastest way to get to level 57 for power leveling. All that stuff, if that helps you out, I really appreciate if you guys would smash subscribe, and down below, hit that bell. YouTube will notify you whenever I post a video. If you want to help me out even more, you could like and share the video, help the channel grow even more, and that would be amazing. If you guys want to come check us out over on Twitch, I live stream every single day just after I post my YouTube videos. So that's always linked in the description, or just search CodeMeQ on Twitch. We usually just hang out, have a fun time playing Borderlands 3 with people that like Borderlands and just cool people. Oh, and I'd love to see you guys comments down below. If you have any suggestions for any character-specific suggestions for getting up to Mayhem 10 quickly, for like Mose, Amara, or Zane, because I, of course, main Flak, so I don't know everything. But I'd love to see you guys' suggestions down below if you have any other ones I didn't cover in the video, because I'd love to know myself, let alone for anybody else that's new to the community. And if you guys have any questions at all for anything Borderlands related, more than happy to answer any questions in the comment section down below as well. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys in the next video and or live stream. Till then, adios.